Hello there, it's Karen with Be Creative, our website shopbecreative.com, and I thank you so much for being here with another really awesome shop and show live event. Hopefully you got your goodie box. I know there were so many of them that went out, and thank you to Bonnie, Eric, and everybody on the Wizard team for putting all that together. You're getting so much awesome goodness in those boxes, and we really tried to give you something a little different. Ours is a card kit. You're getting 2 alcohol markers in there. We're going to do some blending and shading and talking about how we achieve those looks. It shouldn't be daunting or overwhelming to do coloring, and I know some of you are colorists and you like coloring, and others are like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just use a colored pencil and pray, you know. So I want to take some of the trepidation out of it, the fear, and we're going to go through a little bit of really basic 2-color shading and blending. We're going to do a blended background on this card and talk about all the just the tips and techniques you need to know when you are going to color with alcohol markers. And then I really want to get into all our new arrivals. We have so much good new stuff that has come in this fall. I know it has been challenging for all different industries getting products right now, but we've really tried to step it up and work early to get in that stuff for fall for you, so we have it. And we have a lot of stuff that you're not going to see in stores. You're definitely not going to see it in stores, and you're really not going to see it much of anywhere else at all. So we really want to bring the newest and the latest and greatest to you from several of our great vendor suppliers, manufacturers that we work with, and we just really try and do a broad range of stuff for you so we can be your one-stop shop. That's really the goal. So with that said, let me get into the show specials first of all. I'm going to flash those on the screen so you can see what's going on. This was in your kit as well. If you got the, what do I want to say? If you got the box, the Shop and Show Live box, if you got the box, we have that flyer in there that's got the little bit of a how-to if you're doing it on your own and not with me, or you're joining me later, you didn't get a box, whatnot. So I'll go through all that, but we also have some really great sale clearance specials. If you go on our website, shopbecreative.com, you're going to see all that. And if you have any questions at all, just drop me a comment here. We're moderating these comments and we'll respond to you, or you can certainly go on our Facebook page at facebook.com/shopbecreative, or email me directly. It's super easy, Karen@shopbecreative.com. So easy. So many ways to reach us, and we do our best to respond in a timely manner and get your orders out as quickly as we can. So without much further ado, let's get into our project, and then I will go into some of the really fun new arrivals. So let's talk a little about alcohol markers, what you need, what they can do beyond basic coloring. Here's a little board that shows plain items that can be transformed to any color palette using your alcohol markers: wood, glass, metal, plastic, glitter, fabric, ribbon, anything you can tint. So just buy generic, and then you can tint it to match your project, which saves you a lot of money. It saves you a lot of organization space, so you don't have to carry things in a whole rainbow of colors. Here's some other samples of things I've colored with alcohol markers, just showing you a little bit of a sampling that you can go outside the color family and do something a little different. Here's a dragonfly I did using the same blending techniques we're talking about. You can really do dynamic color. You can stay in the same color family here. Colored pencil is layered on top of alcohol marker colored images to give it a little more depth and texture. Here I'm adding a little bit of white into that. I'll talk about that in a second. You'll also see this halo. The halo, like a shadow, that's done by using like a very light gray or a very light turquoise and just outlining the very rim. Can you see that? The very rim, to give it just a hint of a shadow and kind of have it pop off the page. And then this white here, adding white space back in, that I'll tell you right now, that is done with, here we go, a Uniball Signo Pen. We have those on our website. This is just a must-have for not only adding white highlights, but color correcting. If you smudge, you can use it as a fake highlighter, and you can just write on really dark paper. That's just kind of a little hint and a trick. And then here I added white into this as well, using lots of shades of green. Here I'm outside the color family. Choosing the right paper and ink is paramount to having success with alcohol marker coloring. So here is my favorite. It's the Ultra Smooth Premium White Cardstock from Spectrum Noir. It's 100-pound weight. It's a very smooth surface. It's not going to pill or shred when you color it. It comes in 50 or 20 sheet packs of 8.5 by 11. I use it even for embossing and stamping just because you just get really crisp images. It's my go-to cardstock pretty much for any craft project. We have that on our website, as well as inks. Let's talk inks. I would say the Memento is kind of the tried and true. It's a dye-based ink. You want something dye-based that is made, basically dye-based means it's made out of water, which means it's the opposite of alcohol. It won't bleed when you hit it with an alcohol marker. Opposites attract. Your alcohol markers are made of alcohol, so your ink should not be a StazOn or something that's a solvent, because that's alcohol too, and they'll try and bleed and blur together. So Memento, great for your traditional black. We have that. But I really like Finesse. This is newer. This is from Spectrum Noir. The one that says alcohol-proof dye on there is specifically for alcohol ink. And I like some of the more unusual colors like a rustic brown for a more vintage look, or the Pebble is really great for a softer outline so that your color really does the work for you and it's more vibrant, because in real life we don't have giant big black outlines around ourselves, nor do our flowers or our landscapes or anything else. So doing a more soft, natural outline will allow that outline to just kind of fade into the background and let the color really pop that you're coloring with. And then finally, a newer ink from Hero Arts. This is the Contour ink. This guy is fun because he's kind of a hybrid. Let's flip this over. So he is ideal for no line coloring, which is what I just talked about. So it's even more of a lighter, like a grayish, and this will work with both watercolor and alcohol ink. So that's kind of a fun choice, more of a light gray. And then lastly, I want to talk about the Classic Blender. This is a must-have. This is what you use to erase or distress or strip out color. So if you color something with blue, solid blue, but you want it to look like denim, you take your Classic marker and you just scrub it across that blue, and it's going to take out some of the color and give it a little bit of texture, and it will look like denim. You can also, if you go outside the line, scooch your color back in and it acts as an eraser. So that's a must-have as well. So many brands of alcohol markers out there. Tombow is a great choice, ABT Pro. Here I have some Classique from Spectrum Noir. This set is really great because you get the clear colorless blender in with some natural grays to do that outlining shadow along with some natural colors. This is a really great set, Classique 6-piece. There's also, they've got the dark, here's dark skin. I also have fair skin for doing people. That's phenomenal. As well as the brand new Tri-Blend brush just came out like 2 weeks ago. I think we're the first to have that. And this gives you that lovely brush tip, and it's extended colors from the original brush tip box of 24. This is called the extended pack. So additional colors, let's take a look. Here they are. So additional colors to not only extend the range you currently have, but add some new colors. So where it says extend, it's more colors in that family. And where it says blend, it's other colors you've never had. So let's take a look at what you got in your kit that was included in the Make and Take box. So we have this card project that we're going to be doing, and we gave you, first of all, we gave you our specials here. So we've got a 20% off adhesives with the coupon code STICKY. That's good through November 17th. And the markers that we're working with today, these Tombow ABT Pro, those are 50% off right now. 50% off of retail, no coupon needed. It has its own category. I'm also going to throw it in the Shop and Show Live category to include all these new items I'm going to talk about later after we do this project. So even if you didn't get a Make and Take, stay tuned. We're going to talk about new stuff. But I included this lovely blending cheat sheet from my friends at Tombow, who talk about the 4 different ways you can work with alcohol markers in terms of blending and shading. It gave you some practice you could color in. I'm going to show you a unique way that I blend when I'm working with 2 colors in a small area. That's what we're going to do today. So let's move that out of the way. What you got in there was a card envelope. You got your image with your sentiment, which you'll want to chop off to have it separate. like this. And then we have our 2 colors of blue marker. So let's get into this. What I'm going to do for this blending technique is I'm going to make sure I have an acrylic block. This is just a regular old stamping block. Mine's a little beat up because I use it for paint and all kinds of weird things. But I use this as my palette. If you don't have an acrylic block, you can use a piece of like acetate from like a kit. So the bag that your project came in is like an acetate cello bag. That would work too. So that will help to be like kind of a palette for one of the techniques I want to talk about. So I have, here, I've got a scratch piece of paper. So we're working with these 2 colors of the Tombow markers. You can also use Classique or Tri-Blend. These are also alcohol markers, and these work really well too. Just a different brand. This is from Spectrum Noir. But today we're using Tombow. Any of them will work. The same technique as long as it's made out of alcohol and it's not a water-based marker. So you'll notice about the Tombow, you've got the chisel tip, which is more of a stiff tip. So I use that a lot with the blending, and a brush tip, which is just a wider swatch. So we've got this lovely color here. We've got this lovely color here. These colors are kind of far apart, and I want to make them blend together, and that's where the whole palette thing is going to come into play. So let me get this guy here. First of all, let's start with our background. I want to do a blended background on our finished card. So what I want to do is, if you, and this is optional, this is totally optional. I happen to have a blue ink pad and a blending tool. But if you don't, that's fine. But if you want a little blended background, because I am going to cut this out and pop it up, I'm just going to take a piece of my card here. I'm going to get some ink on him here. And I'm just going to circular motions blend a blue background. Say that 8 times fast. Blue background all over my card until I get it to look about like that, roughly. That's a little blotchy, but that's okay. So that's going to be my background. I'm going to set that aside. Let's get into the coloring. So I have this guy. I'm going to start, I started right here. I'm going to start with just coloring in a few flowers at a time. And I'm using my brush tip because I find that's just easy to get down big areas of color like that. So I'll show you a couple ways you can do this. You can get down the big areas of color like this. I'm going to do this particular flower here. And if I go out, I'm not too worried about it because I am going to cut him out later. So I can do that where I put in the big swatches of color. Then I can come in with my blue towards the center and the little like creases, like the base of the petals. I can come in and add some of that. And then I can come back with, instead of my brush tip, I'm going to use my more of a chisel tip. And I'm going to just, because I can really kind of press, and I'm going to work it to blend that. Can you kind of see what I'm doing? By pressing, it's going to dilute. See how you can see on the back side? It's going to dilute and allow me to mix it, kind of like I've got a little blender here, you know, and I'm blending the 2 wet ingredients together. Now, the more I go over the light area with that light pen again, it is going to deepen and darken it. So I do want to kind of come with the brush tip and come blend that back up to the top a little bit with more fine, softer strokes like this. Can you kind of see what I'm doing? Hopefully you can. So that's more of a traditional way to do it. I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. But the other way you can do it using the acrylic block is where I can put down a swatch of color like this, swatch of color. And now what I can do is I can take my darker blue and create a swatch on the acrylic block. And I can pick up with my lighter color and just color it directly on there. And it's a little more diluted. And the more it exits the pen, it's going to blend really easily. Like that. Now the other way I could do it too, just to show you for fun, if I've got that dark blue down here, I've got my light, I can pick it up and watch, it goes dark to light, dark, and then as it exits, it goes light. So it's like I'm pre-blending it on the pen. That's another thing you can do. So I can pull that dark and I can directly go down into the crevice here. And now as I work it, it's going to be lighter as I blend up, and I can come in and finish it. Hope that makes sense to you guys. Let me know in the comments if you have other questions. See, and I can come back in and drop more dark in there. And it's just going to really easily transition and blend. You can take any green you happen to have on hand, be it a crayon, a colored pencil, a marker, anything to get that leaf green. I unfortunately don't have the green in the kit, but I'm sure you've got green something laying around, right? Most of us do. Or if you have yellow, make sure yellow with your blue, because as we know from Sesame Street, that makes green. So just come in again, picking up the dark, kind of like we're painting, and putting some of those dark strokes in the center so that when it exits, then we can blend the light up towards the top of the flower petal. Like this. Hopefully you're all with me. So a million ways to blend and shade and integrate color. And as I said on this little cheat sheet, it's going to give you feathering, circular blending, 3-layer coloring, which here we're using 2, and just all different ways you can achieve a smooth blend. But really the key tip to all this is practice. It's really about practice, okay? So you're going to continue doing that throughout the whole flower, making sure to cut off your sentiment. I have one done here that I have colored previously, as you can see. And if it's a little blotchy here and there, that's okay. To me, I don't always like a smooth blend. Sometimes when I leave it kind of blotchy, particularly when I'm doing a 2-color blend, it's more reminiscent of a watercolor look, and I like that look, especially when it's something so vibrant and bright and simple like this hydrangea. So I've got this. So the next thing you're going to want to do is cut this out. So I don't have my baby scissors. Where did they go? Don't you hate that when you lose your baby scissors? I know I have my cutter bees somewhere floating around here. Those are my favorites, because nothing sticks to them and that you can get into the fine crevices. But, you know, I've been cutting since, I don't know, kindergarten. So hopefully I can pull this out here and finish the project. So as I'm cutting that out, hopefully you're cutting with me. Maybe you're still coloring. I mean, I kind of whizzed through that. So that's the beauty of video, is that you can go back later and you can go through, and I'm just going to fake cut this out a little bit, because it's kind of like, you know, when you watch one of those cooking shows where they throw it in the oven at 450 and then they go, you know, 2 seconds later they go, okay, and they pull it out because it's not really cooking in the oven. That's kind of what we're doing here, because you guys are doing a lot of projects and I don't want to overwhelm you. And if we were to color this, we would need to spend, you know, a good solid half hour just on coloring alone. So I don't want to bore you with all that, because we have other stuff to do. So I'm just going to cut a little bit, and you can keep coloring as I'm cutting, and then we'll get to the rest of the project. Okay, so I'm going to pause this, and we're going to move on to popping it up. So I have this all fussy cut out. No, there's not a die for it, unfortunately, and I had to fussy cut it. It's good exercise for me. So now I'm going to, and I have the background that I blended. You do or do not have to. It's totally up to you. You can use any color. I just thought the blue would kind of set that off nicely. And now I'm going to, and you can see where I blended on the back side when I flip it over as I put on these pop dots. And yeah, I use black pop dots. I don't think it really matters. You're not going to see it anyway, honestly. I just want to give it a little dimension is all when I pop it up off of my piece. So I've got that going. I'm going to pop it up here, just like that. That looks lovely. Like that. And actually, you know what? Because I didn't cut out this middle here, you can kind of see that. I'm going to take it and hit it with a little blue so it blends in with my background. There we go. That looks good. I have my sentiment that I've cut out here. You can edge it in black ink pad. I have my blue ink pad and just drag that across the edge to just give it a little bit of a finished look, just like that. That looks pretty good, yeah? All right, and then I'm going to pop that guy up too. And actually, should I double pop that? It kind of depends, like if your sentiment's gonna kind of overlay a little bit or not. It depends on where you'd like to stick it. Like I could do that here, and in which case, since it's going to be up above higher where that leaf is sitting, I'm going to have to double pop it. So I'm going to have to put 2 high of the foam square right there on the 3 corners, and then a single pop square on the left corner because it's already elevated on that leaf. Does that make sense? So I'm going to put a single there. I'm going to put 2 doubles here, on each of the other 3 corners. It's physics, yeah? Are you with me? Okay, got that all going right like that. And I'm just going to pop it right like that. So you can see how I went 2 high here and 1 high here because the flower's already popped up a little. And it's as simple as that. I mean, I could have shifted that up a little. I could add a ribbon if I want. Easy, easy. I hope you had a good time doing that. Oh, you know what? I want to add one more thing. I've got this new product I was going to show you in the next segment. This is Spectrum Noir Glossy Highlights. It's a clear 3D medium. It can be used as an adhesive, but more often than not, you want to use it for that glossy finish, that shiny sheen. I'm going to use it to put some centers in my flowers. It has a really delicate tip and it just comes out super easy. Comes out like kind of like Hershey's Kisses, where you're going to get a dollop, but then as it dries, it's going to settle and round over on the top, so you won't get that point, which is nice. It's also going to serve to kind of accent and highlight that deep blue underneath, which is really kind of nice. Oops, I missed one. Let me bring it up so you can see what I did there. Oh, one more. Don't you hate it when you miss stuff? There you go. Really nice tip on that. Very easy to use. And as you can see, it's just going to give it a little something extra. That's kind of fun. All right, so simple as that. Hope you had a good time. Let's go to the next segment and talk about all the exciting new arrivals. Let's talk new arrivals. So we've got so many new things on our website under new arrivals. First up, we've got the Tri-Blend Brush Extended Collection. All of those colors that extend the brush tip alcohol marker, that extend the current box you may have purchased last year. Additional colors. And let's take a look at the color card. So 12 of the colors extend existing colors and 12 of the colors are brand new colors. So you have even more brush tip options. So much fun. This is going to be hot. And then we've got the Totally Tiffany Craft and Carry workstation in turquoise. It's black and turquoise for tabletop. Got the new Spectrum Noir Glossy Highlights to add a little glisten and shine and like an epoxy coating to the top of projects. That's brand new. Brilliantly metallic Midas ink pads are here in a convenient holiday set. So let's talk Totally Tiffany. We've got a couple things to talk about. We have the paper takers, that's one thing, but then we've got the buddy bags. So first off, buddy bags, Kirsten, Meryl, and Lisa are brand new, and they join old favorites Sarah and Denise for a really affordable marker storage in addition to stamp pads and all that other good stuff. And of course, we've got our really great special, buy 3 buddy bags and get a free Gale bag. Now let's talk paper takers. Those are a little different. These come in 6x6, 5x7, 8x8, and 12x12, but they are really sturdy, have an insert in there, and they do so much more. As you can see, they hold markers, they hold vinyl, so they have tri-blend would be the taller one. They hold vinyl storage, they're holding paper, they're holding all of your like stamps and dies on panels, they're holding paper pads. So many uses for these, and just like I said, really sturdy with great closures on them, and it's got that insert that makes it really sturdy as well. If you're a fan of slimline, you're going to want to check out the Pink Fresh category on our website for new slimline envelopes and essential dies at a great sale price. New acrylic paint markers that go on almost any surface, plus new shades and packages of the sparkle markers, a lot of shimmer and sheen. Those are available as well. Next up, we've got some really innovative paint markers. The first up is the gold, silver, and bronze or copper metallic paint markers. Goes on any surface. You're getting 3 different sizes in each set. You can buy each set individually or as a bundle set to save, but it goes on, you know, paper, glass, wood, ornaments, anything for a really vibrant color, and it's also a non-toxic product, which is really great. Perfect for Christmas crafting. Then we have the outline markers, which are really cool. It gives you that silver hue outlined in a color. As you can see here, you're getting 6 in the set. Very innovative and very cool for doing journaling and lettering and planners and calendars and all that good stuff. And as always, we've got unique stamps and dies to keep you satisfied into the seasons. We've got a lot of holiday and Christmas designs. Here's some samples of dies and stamps. They either come as sets or individually, and you can just get those creative juices flowing. So stamping foam is a moldable foam piece that's great to create unique stamps. So you heat it with a heat tool, and then you can press the foam into a textured surface like an embossing folder or another stamp and hold it in place, and then you can ink it and create some really cool backgrounds, and it can be reheated and remolded over and over again, and you get 4 pieces in the pack. Well, that was a lot. That was a lot in a very short amount of time, so I threw a lot at you, so hopefully you got some great tips and techniques that will help you to become a better colorist, a more confident colorist, really, not a better colorist, a more confident colorist, because we are all doing it our own way. This is our hobby. It's fun. There is no competition. I just want to take the fear out of it for you. So hopefully that was successful, and you can go further with a lot of different types of ways that you can approach things to get the results you desire. And then we went into a lot of new products, so hopefully you saw something you liked. How could you not? There was so much stuff. So please join me at shopbecreative.com. That's where I'll be, like, after this. I'll be filling your orders and in the warehouse and getting all that stuff out to you. If you have any questions, drop me a comment. I thank you so much for supporting me and my family and everybody at Shop and Show Live. Really fantastic. I hope you have a really great rest of your season. This has been fun all year long, and I'm just really grateful for the venue. Thank you, Eric and Bonnie, as always. Thank you. Thank you, and your whole team who do so much work to get all this out to you. So thanks again, and I hope you have a really great rest of your day.